Hello friends, today is Thursday, the 11th October 2018, and today we will be seeing the second stanza of the first chapter, Citta Sangaha Vibhaga, or the analysis of consciousness. Let's begin. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Now in the second stanza we will be seeing about the ultimate realities, which is called as the Paramatta or the Paramatta Dhamma or Paramatta. Is also called as the Chatudā Paramatta because there are four ultimate realities which the Buddha has found out and analyzed. Now, what are these ultimate realities is the thing we will be seeing soon. Let us begin with the stanza. Tata Abhidhammata Chatudā Paramattato Chittam Chetasikam Rupam Nibbanam Iti Sabbata. Let me repeat. Tata Abhidhammata Chatudā Paramattato Chittam Chetasikam Rupam Nibbanam Iti Sabbata. Now that I have told about these four, let's now move to the slides. I will just reduce this one. Just give me a minute. Yes. And let it be on the side here. Now here, give me a minute. Yeah. Now here is the, let's first begin with the slide here. Now we are again in the first chapter 1, analysis of consciousness, Citta Sangaha Vibhaga, stanza 2, which is the four ultimate reality, Chatudā Paramatta. Chatudā means four, Paramatta means ultimates. Now this is the one, this is the stanza here, and I have colored the words differently to just know it. Yeah, now here I have listed out the vocabulary. Now, before going to the stanza again, let's move to the other set of slides. First, let us see what are realities. Let us see what are realities. Give me a minute here. Yes, here. So. Now, what is reality? The reality, according to Buddhism, is of two types. One is the conventional reality, which is called as the samutti. Samutti is the conventional or the societal reality in which we are living. And then the second one, this is the one, the conventional reality, Samutti, and the other side is the ultimate reality, Paramatta. Paramatta is the ultimate reality. The conventional reality is or generally coming from what is called as the parikappana. Kappana means imaginations, or or the higher pari is higher imaginations, which are made up of mental and physical processes, generally made of mental and physical processes. For example, when we say man, woman, or a dog, animal, or whatever it be, you can see that it is made up of mental and physical processes. For example, a being is made of partly made of the mental side and then the physical side. Now the conventional reality is divided into two parts or two types. One is the ordinary conventional thought, which is paññatti. Here the examples that I gave generally come to be known as paññatti, because for example, the class of beings which look like man, for example, with 2 legs and 2 hands and highly developed brain, is called as a man, and women are generally included in this class as man. And for example, animals or a general classification or ordinary conceptual thought, to denote not the combination of mental and physical processes that's constituting to be called as being. Now the second part is the conventional modes of expression, or vohara. Conventional modes of expression may vary according to our imaginations. So here, this is the one we can see in all the poetical expressions in all the languages, in all the human languages. The poets generally try to express the same thing in very different ones, in greater applying very great amount of imaginations possible. I'm not here to give the examples of this. You will be able to see the examples of vohara or modes of expressions that are differently applied, other than the conceptual thought or the broader classification in the texts, in the common texts that we use in the languages or literature in general. Here the ultimate reality is the paramatta, is the thing which is actually the thing which drives all these things. Actually, is the inner thing, which we'll be seeing in the next slide. Here what we see here is the 4 ultimate realities, or the paramatta. It's also called as the dhamma. What is dhamma is, first let us see. The dhamma, the characters of dhamma or 3 in nature. One is the dhamma, or the final one. You cannot break it any further. It will exist, and what you see is when you break the normal conventional things, either the physical thing or the things that come in the mind, what you finally see is the dhamma, the final one, and irreducible components of existence. Actually, the dhammas are the ones that give us the experience that we have in this life, in our life, and in the past lives and in the future lives too. These are the Dhammas which will be giving us the expression the experiences successively, just like the beads which are just lying next to one in a necklace, or in a set of beaded necklace. And then the third one is the ultimate, they are the ultimate entities found only by careful analysis of experience. This can be analyzed by the human mind. This is what the Buddha has found out, and he has given the techniques for analysis, which are the Anapanasati, and the other one is the Vipassana Bhavana. And there are other techniques too. Now again, going to the fourfold ultimate realities. Here the four ultimate realities, Paramatta, they exist by its own intrinsic nature, or sabhava. Sabhava means the nature, by itself, the intrinsic nature. And in these fourfold ultimate realities, there are two types, conditioned and unconditioned. There are actually four, but here the Nibbana is unconditioned. This is the state which the Buddha has attained. And here the conditioned states, realities, we have three, which are consciousness, Chittam, impressions of consciousness or consciousness impressions, Chetasikam, which we will be seeing in the second chapter here. And then the third one is the materiality, or the Rupam, or the materiality. Rupam is it means materiality, Rupa or Rupam. Now, so here these are also this can be called as the Dhammas of the reality which we experience. Now again, the ultimate realities for Paramattas give us four things actually. It answers these things. Two things in the ontological angle and epistemological angle. That means we have to use this Dhamma in two types. For example, ontological angle is the way in which what we see, anything, for example, the meaning ontology generally means to see the things as they are, instead of giving sort of colorings. We just see the things as they are. For example, in the Anapanasati breathing meditation, what we do is we see the breathing as breathing in and then breathing out, just breathing in as just breathing in, and breathing out as breathing out, and not whiling away the mind to think about lots of things, and then just have the distractions brought in, the colorings brought in. And seeing things as they are is by the technique, is by the terminology that's called as the Yoniso Manasikara. Manasikara means which is the thorough attention to the thought or the things that we experience in our lives. Otherwise, it is called as the epitome of mindfulness, or the some level of mindfulness is needed to analyze this one, to bring in the Yoniso Manasikara. Yoni so means the going to the core part of things. Is a Yoniso Manasikara, it's an ontological angle. And then the second one is the epistemological angle, which answers the nature, origin and limits of human knowledge. When we read the Abhidhamma, And in the Abhidhamma we see the nature, origin, and the limits of everything actually, well, of all the things, experiences that we have is answered by the Buddha. And here the the ultimate reality is again seen as then as an in the epistemological angle. That's where we can see the nature of the reality, the origin of reality, from where it comes. We will be seeing and analyzing the origin in the first chapter itself, and then we can see the limits of human knowledge, or the human wisdom here. There is no limit for the human wisdom actually, which can be even comparable to the gods. The human, what Buddha says is the human brain is the ultimate, and the human existence, or the human birth, is actually giving a better way to exit the cycle of life, which we will be we have. Cycle of life is we will be seeing about the cycle of life in the ensuing slides. Now, before going to the other slides, let us say something about the PAÑCHA KANDHÂ. PANCHA KANDHÂ, it means the 5 aggregates, or the 5 parts with which all the living beings on the earth is made of. And the 5 things are here. First one is the matter, is the Rupa Khandha. Khandha, it means aggregate. Aggregate means a collection, a part of a collection. Pancha means 5, the 5 aggregates. Matter is the Rupa Khandha, which denotes the class, which denotes the Rupa in the ultimate reality here, as we have seen here in the 4 ultimate realities. The Rupa here, the Rupam, the materiality denotes here, is denoted by Rupa Khandha here, and our body here comes under this classification, the body which we are made of. And then the second one is the feeling, Vedana. Feeling, or the Vedana. Vedana here means feeling. Khandha is the collection. The feeling collection is the part of the mental processes that we have. And perception. Third one is the perception, which is called as the Sanya. Sanya, Khandha. Sanya means perception, or the way we see things. And this aggregate is the feeling aggregate, and the Sanya aggregate. For example, the Sanya, when you see an object, the Sanya, the perception begins to work, and then you get a sort of feeling here. We will also be seeing about the feeling in this chapter. And the fourth one is the mental fabrications, or the Sankara Khandha. Sankara here means fabrications, and the mental fabrications. Mental, in some books in English, the translations is given as mental formations, but here I take it as mental fabrications. Sankaras is not the real things, which are actually produced by the perception, and our feelings on the perception of the feeling gives some type of sankaras. For example, let's take an example here of an apple, for example. Imagine a person who likes apple is blindfolded first, and you show this apple without just say that you are showing something and do you like it or not. And since this person is blindfolded, this person cannot see the apple, and you should be careful that the person doesn't get the smell of this apple. Should be a little bit far enough, and as you show, this person cannot decide anything. He or she just says, I don't know, or maybe, may not be, I am not sure. But and you show to another person, blindfolded person who doesn't like the apple. And again, when you ask after blindfolding, if you ask this person after showing the apple to this blindfolded person, this person says, I don't know what is this object. And you should not reveal the name of this object or any detail about this object. And this way this person will not be able to say anything about this. And when you untie the blindfold for these two persons, when these two people see the apple, one person just hates the apple and says, oh, I don't like this one, and the other person seeing the apple is delighted and happy. Oh, I like apple. So what we see here is the same apple that we have shown before, and as the perception goes on this, or the Vedana, the feeling which they have got from this apple, with these two things, what we have seen is the sankhara is made. One person likes the apple, one person develops the feeling of liking or liking, and the other person develops the feeling of hating, which is actually the mental fabrications which is developed on the particular object. But when you see the apple itself, the apple doesn't have the property of happiness or unhappiness or hate. It is just red in color. It has some taste. It is you can touch it and you can eat it, but those things which come in the mind, which are extra in nature, these are called as sankharas. And then the other one is the Citta. The fifth aggregate is the Citta. This is the first one. We should have made it as the first one. And this is the consciousness, which is otherwise called as VIÑÑާNA, VIÑñāna Khandhā, which is also called as the Citta. The VIññāna is we will see in the next slide about how this VIññāna is formed from Citta, which are actually the same things. What we see in the Abhidhamma stanzas here is having the word Citta, so which actually denotes VIññāna. Also, VIññāna is the defiled form of Citta. Defiled is not pure. Citta is pure, and this is not pure. Our consciousness is filled with impurities or the defilements. So and the Chittas. So now what we can see here is and then what we can see here is in the four ultimate realities. The first is materiality. The last one, what we saw now, is the consciousness, Citta, or the Chittam, and the middle one is the consciousness, Chetasikam, consciousness impressions, which we will see here. Which we can see here is the Chaitasikam, or the consciousness impressions, or here Vedana, Vedana Khandhā, Sanya Khandhā, and Sankhara Khandhā comes under the consciousness impressions. Okay. Let me also tell here about consciousness impressions, or the Chaitasika, how it and from where it comes. This is the one we will be seeing in the second chapter. Now, what I want to say here is the Chaitasika and the Citta arise together. When the Citta arises in the mind, when an object is shown, to the mind or to any of the five senses, the Citta arises, and along with the Citta, the consciousness impressions arise. Just like when you see a stone, you actually are able to see the sides of the stone. Either the stone is polished, or it has some faces, or it's irregular, or something like that. The irregularity, or the faces, or the smoothness of the Citta is what is called as Chaitasika here, which I call as the consciousness impressions. But certain English scholars who have translated the Abhidhamma have taken it in a different manner, but I will not be using it, because using the name that they have used, and I will be using this name, consciousness impressions, for the Chaitasika in the English language. Now let us see the 9 stages of Citta here. Now what we see here is first the Citta. The Citta arises because of 6 things here. Because of thinking, the mind itself, and then the first one is the touch, seeing, for example, smelling here, and then hearing, and then tasting, which is denoting the tongue here. So the Citta pertaining to either of the 6 arises when an object is shown. It is just the property of the existence itself. And this Citta, when it arises, is pure, is very pure, and then it moves, it changes to Mano. Actually, the Citta changes to, in the 9th stage is the VIÑÑāNA Khandhā, which we saw here in the PAÑCHA KANDHÂ, is the VIññāNA Khandhā, is the defiled state of Citta itself. Okay. Imagine a flower is presented to the eye. To the eye here, a flower is presented, and as soon as you open the eye, you see the mind has just detected the object, and first the mind will tell, oh, this is a flower. This is a flower in the Mano stage. It has just the mind will say, oh, this is a flower, and when it moves to the 3rd stage, which is the Manasam stage, Manasam stage, the mind identifies what type of object it is. Something like, oh, this is a big flower, or this is a red flower, this is a blue flower, or the blue flower is, or is it a green flower? So here in the Mano stage, the mind actually detects it as a flower, just as a flower, without going into the details of it. And in the Manasam stage, it just knows the type of it, the green flower, the color of it, something like that. And then going to the third stage, which is the Hadayam stage. Hadayam means the heart. Here the Buddha says that Hadayam, or the Hadaya Vattu, Hadayam, or the heart base, the base. There are different bases for us, for our consciousness. Now this from the mind, from the mind or the brain, or it processes, and it comes to the Hadayam stage, where the Hadaya Vattu is directly in the heart itself, and this Hadaya Vattu can be known when you feel too much. For example, when you lose a loved one, when you lose something very big or something, you feel a pain in the middle of the heart, middle of the chest, just below the sternum, and this is the place where the Hadaya Vattu is situated, and this is the place where when you do the Asiatic salute, or this one, so the finger, the thumb actually touches the Hadaya Vattu when you do it on the do it like this. The Indian or the Asian countries' way of saluting. The Western is something like this, but here is the Asian way, and you can see that the thumb finger, the thumb actually directly is on the is pressing on the Hadaya Vattu, and this type of salute is very good, and I recommend this type of salute when you do to the Buddha, when you do to some important people. The Hadaya Vattu is touched and maybe activated. Now here, when you move from the Manasam stage to the Hadayam stage, the mind, here I have put this filter, the red filter here, and as the red filter, when you cross the red filter, from the green changes to red. Actually here what I have seen is the contamination of the mind starts to rise from here up to the Viññānam, or the Viññāna Kandhā stage. So here the Hadayam, so the Hadayam, in the Hadayam stage, the mind gets attached or repulsed by the object. Once if for example a red flower is shown here, or for example imagine someone doesn't like a red flower is shown here. First the mind detects, oh, it's a flower and it's a red flower here, and then imagine the person doesn't like the color red, and the person says, oh, I don't like this flower because it goes through the Hadayam, and actually it goes somewhere in the heart. There is the mind part of it which goes under our physical body, and imagine a person likes a red flower, and as soon as he identifies the color red and the flower, then he or she feels attracted to it and feels happy about it. And then moving to the next stage, when the Hadayam stage comes, the feelings or the contaminations start to accumulate, and here we can see the mind's attachment or repulsion towards the object gets stronger from here, which is called as the Pandaram. Pandaram actually means the mind which is which has become crazy, something like a crazy one, or which starts to become attached to something, which starts to become crazy about something, which starts to become crazy about hating crazily something. Here, repulsion towards mind starts to get filled with greed or hatred from this stage, or at this stage itself, at this stage, Hadayan stage itself, it starts, and the greed or hatred gets filled up very fastly from this stage Pandaram. You can see in this stage that the mind actually behaves erratically, and your feelings, you feel very dejected, or you feel very happy when you see when the object is present from this stage. And then the stage goes to Mana-ayatanam, Manayatanam, something which we will be seeing later, or which is not very important here. And then goes to the next stage of Mana Indriyam. Indriyam is actually denoting the strength of the mind. And then the next one is the Viññānam. Viññānam is the defiled mind. And then the last one is the fully defiled one, which you can see as an aggregate, as a sort of collection, is the VIÑñāNA Kandhā, which is the part of the PAÑCHA KANDHÄ. Here is the VIññāNA Kandhā here, consciousness. But here what we see in the Abhidhamma here is they just give the name as Citta instead of Viññānam or VIññāNA Kandhā. I think we can very well understand that there is nothing wrong with it, using Citta in the place of VIññāNA Kandhā. Now going to the next slide. What we see is the types of Viññāna, the types of Chittas in the what is arising in the mind itself. Just give me a minute here. Now here let's see the Viññāna, types of Viññāna. One is the Mano Viññāna. Mano Viññāna is the mind consciousness, which is there when you even when you sleep, it is there. When you're born, it is there. And then when you think about something, it is there. And the other types of consciousnesses, or from the body consciousnesses, or 5 in number, which one is the Chakku Viññāna, seeing consciousness, which is coming from the eye. There is this sensitive part in the eye, which the Buddha says the eye sensitivity, the material form for the eye sensitivity is in the eye, with which we will be able to see the external object. For example, seeable object can be detected by the eye, and once the eye sees the seeable object, the Chakku Viññāna arises. The same is for the Sota Viññāna. Hearing consciousness arises because there is there's the sensitive ear sensitivity part inside, which is responsible for receiving or detecting the sounds, outside sounds bones, and when the two objects meet, the sound and the sensitive part of the ear, the Soto Viññāna, hearing consciousness, arises. Now the Ghana Viññāna is the smell consciousness. Smell consciousness arises when a smelling object, or when a smell touches the sensitivity part in the nose, which is responsible for smell. The smell. If you ask, for example, the sensitivity part of the eye, can it be seen in the head, or in the nose, or in the cheeks, or any part of the body? No, it cannot be seen. The sensitivity part of which is responsible for hearing is situated only in the ear. It is not situated anywhere else. And same, the nose consciousness sensitivity part is in the nose itself, and Jiva Viññāna, taste consciousness part, is situated only in the tongue. It cannot be seen anywhere else in the body. And then the Kaya Viññāna is the touch consciousness, which is spread all throughout the body. The sensitivity part is spread all throughout the body, in the bones, in the everywhere, all around, and that's how we can feel the touch. Yes. And then the Mano Viññāna, which can cognize, when a mental object or an idea is placed in the mind, the mind, the brain actually processes it and produces because of the mind, the Mano Viññāna, or the mind consciousness, arises. Now that we have told about this one, told about the 6 types of consciousnesses that exist in our body. Let us now look at the feelings. The feelings are called as Vedana. Vedana means feelings. There are 3 types of feelings that any being can experience. One is the pleasant feeling here, which is denoted by Sukha Vedana, or happy face here. Pleasant feeling, Sukha Vedana. So the opposite of it is the Dukkha Vedana, or the unpleasant feeling, or unpleasant, or it can be told as the sad feeling also, but we will be terming it as an unpleasant feeling and pleasant feeling, Sukha Vedana, and opposite of it is the Dukkha Vedana. And then the neutral is denoted by something like an alien face here, which I have done, which is the neutral feeling, or the Upekha Vedana, which is not happy or which is not sad. We can see the neutral feeling in an example that I am giving now. Imagine someone, for example, you are standing on the bus stop, and you can see lots of people moving around, but imagine you're waiting for a person, a friend, for example. Unless you see a familiar face or the person you know, you will have a neutral feeling, or there will be no feeling at all. When you suddenly see a person you like, or when you see the person for whom you're waiting, suddenly a Sukha Vedana, a pleasant feeling, arises. But an unpleasant feeling arises when you see unpleasant people, or for example a thief on the street. You will feel unpleasant and unpleasantness, or you may feel fear, which is actually the dukkha vedana itself. Now, going to the next slide. This is the slide which shows the pure form of the Citta. Citta is the 9 stages of the Citta. Here, the Citta here starts. Citta here starts, and we will see the Citta. What is the structure of the Citta? I am not here to give the very clear one. Buddha just talked about this one in a clear manner, and this is the picture that I can arrive at here, which is called as Citta or SUDDHASHTAKA. SUDDHASHTAKA, or just give me a minute. So it is Citta or the SUDDHASTAKA. Here the Citta is made of 8 parts, 8 parts, which is also called as SUDDHASTAKA. Suddha means pure. Ashtaka here means 8. Suddha means 8. Pure, and Suddha Ashtaka means 8. Or otherwise it's called as Avinibhoga Rupa. But let us see first. There are the four physical elements which we can see. One is the Patavi, the earth or the coarseness element here. Apo is the liquid element. And then the third one is the Tejo, or the fire or energy element. And the Vayu is the air or the movement element. So these are called as the Satara Mahabhuta, or the four basic things which creates our body. Actually, it is also the part of the mind itself, which is created by avijja, ignorance, so which is the Patavi, Apo, Tejo and Vayu, earth, liquid, fire or energy, and air element. On the other side, which is the other part of the vibrational state of Patavi, the earth vibrational state, the other form is called as Oja, or the nutritive essence element, which you can see is the food. It's the food, or the nutritive element, or the altered vibrational state of Patavi. This is all the foods we eat come under this. Actually, many things can be eaten by a living being. And second one is the liquid element, Apo. Altered vibrational state is the Rasa. Rasa means taste element. When you put something in the mouth, a stone, imagine a baby who puts a stone in the mouth, tastes the stone in the mouth, there might be a taste in it, which comes from the liquid element, or that's why we drink things, which is coming from the liquid element, which has taste. Even the food actually has the taste. And the third one is the energy element. Energy element, when in the altered vibrational state, gives the varna, the color, the fire or energy element, when we see in a camera, or for example in the UV camera, what we can see is there are colors which are coming out of our body, which is because of the heat of our body, or the energy element in our body creates different colors in the in our body and in the nature. And then the fourth one is the altered state of the vayu air element, is the gandha, or the smell element. Gandha is the smell, or the smell element. So what we can see is the air element has an altered state of and presents it as a smell. So these four are actually the altered states of these the basic force, and this is created because of the craving, or the bondage due to greed, hatred, and delusion, which are the three things which we will be seeing later, which are the bondage. Tanha means bondage, bondage to form and other things, to Patavi, Apo, and Tejo, and all the other basic things, creates these four things. So I have drawn here this one in the form of a dumbbell, or which you do when you do exercise, which you can hold here, and on the one side, or the weight of the Sattara Mahabhuta and the altered states of Sattara Mahabhutas, or here, which is also called as the SUDDHASTAKA, or the purest form, Citta, which is the first, which is the first one. The Citta has this one, and as it comes out, where is this coming out? This is coming out from the mind itself. The mind, any thought or anything, any thinking, actually already has this property of earth, property of liquid, property of energy, property of air, and the altered states of it. And all the things that we see outside is all created from the thought itself, because the thought itself is a form of matter, is a form of fine form of matter itself. Yeah, so the thought itself is a fine form of matter. Next one, let's go to the next slide. Here, what we see here is Citta, or the consciousness. What is Citta? For example, here we will be seeing what is Citta. Here the question arises in the Abhidhamma as is Citta an activity? Is Citta an agent? Or is Citta an instrument? And here, instrument. So so the correct one might be here, the one which I clearly see is the Citta as an activity. So here Citta is an activity because and there is no person involved. For example, here let us see this. Let's see this. First let us start with the agent, Citta as an agent. Considering Citta as an agent, well, let us read it. Arammanam chintati ti cittam. So the observing mind, arammanam is the observing mind, or the mind that is observed, thinks, chintati, things and produces the Chittam. So it is on the reverse. The Chittam actually is the agent which observes the mind and things. And observes the mind and things. So, and then the second one as an instrument, which is partly correct. As an agent, is partly correct, but not fully correct. And when we look at this as an instrument, Chitta as an instrument, or the consciousness as an instrument. Now the expression, Pali expression here is etena chintanti ti chittam, is the chittam is able to probe into anything. So this is etena is any thought or any type of thinking which can be cognized by the mind is all probed by the Chittam, by the consciousness. So it is like an instrument. It is considered as like an instrument which probes everything. And in the third one we have the Pali expression Chintana mattam chittam. Chintana mattam chittam is the Chittam Chintana mattam is a thought of thinking activity itself. So we cannot distinguish anything here. It is just an activity, like a waveform here. So let's move to the next slide. Now let's look at the stages of action or acts or event. There are 3 stages. What the Buddha says, there are 3 stages for anything and everything. One is the upada. Upada means beginning or the occurrence or the producing of it. Or the upada is the beginning, occurrence or producing which is produced at the beginning. Now here the waveform here starts. Upada begins and then goes up and goes to the state of titi. Titi is satisfaction or the brim. That is the highest point, and then after reaching the satisfaction point, it comes down and comes less to the lowest point, and there comes the bhanga or the end or the fade away of the act or action or whatever it be, whatever phenomena it be. It has 3 stages of upada, beginning, titi or the satisfaction or the brim of it, and then the bhanga or the fade away or the end of the activity or action or birth or whatever it be. Now in this slide what I have done is what I have done is I have prepared a slide of all the chittas that's here. But before moving to all the chittas, what we have to do here is we will wind up with this stanza here. With stanza number 2 of the fourfold ultimate reality, Chatudā Paramatta. Here, Tata Abhidhammata Chatudā Paramattato Chittam Chetasikam Rupam Nippanam iti Sabbata. So here, Tata is this way. This way it is told. What is said or told by the Buddha, generally told means it is generally referred to the Buddha himself in the Abhidhamma. In the Abhidhamma, Chatudā Paramatta to 4. Chatudā is 4. Paramatta to is 4 ultimates. Chittam, one is the Chittam, is the consciousness. Chetasikam is the consciousness impressions. Rupam is the body, is the physical form or the materiality here. Materiality is the Rupam. And then the fourth one is the Nibbānam, which is the one which is unconditional form, which is outside the world of our formations, which is the state which the Buddha has attained, and all the arahants who come after the Buddha have attained. Iti is this way, thus this way, or thus. Sabbata is thus, all of it. These 4 or all of the Chatudā Paramatta, all the 4 ultimates or these 4s. That's what is the meaning here. Now let's finish off with this chapter, with this stanza. Now I would like to say that I would like to share all the merits that I have acquired through sharing this lecture to all the beings, without any condition or precondition, or without any hindrance or preference or differences. I share all the merits of all my lives, from all the births that I have amassed, to all the beings, and I would ask forgiveness from all the beings for all the wrongs that I might have committed in this birth or in the past births or in any of the births, including my future births. Actually, we can ask forgiveness at this moment, even for the future births. And let's finish it. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.